Jesus got into the boat and his disciples followed him. Suddenly a furious storm came upon the lake, so that the waves swept over the boat, but Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went and woke him, saying, "Lord, save us, we're going to drown." He replied, "You of little faith, why are you so afraid?" Then he got up and rebuked the wind and the waves, and it was completely calm. The men were amazed and asked, "What kind of man is this? Even the winds and the waves obey him." Well, on that day when we lost our son, something crazy happened. My wife and I, we were walking on this journey towards this moment in life that we would have never expected to be in. Like, we were literally staring death in the face with this unborn child. And so we were just walking towards this moment, waiting for everything to happen. We got to this point where my wife actually delivered our son, and when he was born, he had already passed. And my wife held him, and then they gave him to me, and I held his little body in the palms of my hands. And I remember just looking at him, and I remember thinking to myself, this is insane. This is crazy. Like, how did we get here? But you know what was even crazier to me? Was that peace was greater than chaos at that moment. Like, my prayer had all along, as we were walking through this, it was that God was going to show up in a way that was undeniable to us. That God was going to reveal himself to us that was so substantial that he would ease the hurt and the pain of this moment. And so there I stood with my boy, my little boy, in my hands, and I'm holding him, looking at him, and God is saying to me, "I've got you. I'm here with you." And that he did in my heart and my life at that very moment what he did in the boat for the disciples. He rebuked the wind and the waves, and everything just stopped. Everything, all the chaos went silent. And what I want to tell you today is this: God's peace is so powerful that it can conquer anything in your life. The power of peace is greater than chaos. I mean, think about this for a moment. I mean, these disciples, they were fishermen, and they're on the sea, and they're afraid that they're going to die. And so they go and find Jesus, and Jesus stands up, and he goes out in the boat, and he rebukes the wind and waves, and he calms the whole thing down. I mean, think about this idea that God's peace was more powerful than the storm. His words were more powerful than chaos itself. Like, in this moment where I'm holding my boy, I had never understood that peace could be strong. I always thought of peace as being this mild and meek and kind of hippie type thing, right? But peace is strong. It has so much power that it can defeat chaos, that peace can defeat death in our life. Like, peace is so strong that it wants to come in, and it wants to come in over the chaos in your life, and it wants to settle it. It wants to just squash the chaos in your life. I don't know if you've ever experienced this before. Like, I don't know if you've ever experienced the power of peace. If you have, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, like, maybe you're walking through something today where you need the divine power of God's peace in your life. Like, the storm is so out of control. Maybe it's depression, maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's loneliness, maybe it's illness, maybe it's death, maybe it's the loss of a job. Like, wherever you're at and you feel alone, and you're asking God, "Where are you?" And then he stands up. Today my prayer is that he would stand up in your life, and that he would simply calm the wind and the waves in your life, and that the power of God's peace would be stronger than the chaos that's in your life today. My prayer is this: God, let your peace be more powerful than the chaos that is in my life. He wants to show it to you. I've lived through it. It's this amazing thing. And so my prayers today is that you would experience God's peace, and that it's greater than chaos.